Hello people of YouTube, it's Deepak here, and welcome to the DCS World News for the 15th of January. I hope that you all enjoyed that video there, my most recent tutorial on the FA-18C Hornet, all about air-to-air missiles and radar queuing. Next week, the next topic will be WVR radar modes for air-to-air. WVR, of course, being within visual range. Those modes in the FA-18 being referred to as ACM modes, which is air combat modes. So that's the next exciting installment of the Hornet tutorials. Stieglitz, welcome. Storm Kimbari, greetings. Tog, Fox 3, Pitbull, etc. Has the show started? Yes, that's why I'm talking to you right now, sir. Mark S, almost time, you're excited. Stieglitz, Byron, 16th. What? What do you mean 16th? It's the 15th. What time zone are you in, sir? Are you in Australia, perchance? Welcome, Fod Night Riders. And yeah, etc, etc. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, this is the continuing series on the Hornet that I've been doing. I do have more air-to-air radar modes to do, and I also need to cover things like the JHICMIS, or the Joint Helmet-Mounted Queuing System, and various other ways of basically employing air-to-air weapons. In the case of the Hornet, there's so much stuff to cover because it is a very, very multi-role capable aircraft. So we're going to go over the air-to-ground radar eventually, targeting pod, air-to-ground weapons, even things like cruise missiles and harpoons and all that sort of fun stuff. Welcome Dave Flute, welcome Rel, welcome Channel Right, welcome Tom DeBont. Everybody's here. Always forget the Switch count, says Bill. Fantastic. So, here we go. Yeah, sadly, today we don't have dotChuckles. He wasn't available to join us today, but we still have some news items to cover. We actually have our very first DCS newsletter of the year, so that's very exciting and a little bit of an insight for us into what Eagle are up to right now. So without any further ado, let's go and have a little peek at that. The very first thing they talk about, and this is exciting because for some reason it hadn't clicked with me that this was going to be a commercial module. The MB339 is mentioned, which is really, really cool. Mark S, the F-18 is going to take you all year. Maybe not all year, but it's definitely going to take a while because like the Hornet is a pretty big topic. There's a lot to cover there. We're delighted to introduce the MB339A Aramachi by India Fox Deco as an addition to our DCS aircraft lineup. MB339 is a single-engine, two-seat jet trainer and light ground support aircraft, which entered service in the early 80s. The primary user is the Italian Air Force. This advanced trainer has superb flying qualities, and we're certain that you'll enjoy its excellent capabilities. There are also some updates. We actually talked about these updates last week, but Magnitude 3 talking about their updates on the F4U and the Essex-class aircraft carrier. There was also some mention of the F8, and they shared some images of the laser scanning they've been doing of that aircraft, which is very nice. What else have we got? Oh yes, as the new year kicks off at full power, whatever that's supposed to mean, I'll take a sip from my beer. We are excited to announce some splendid progress on the new models for the B-1B Lancer, B-52H Stratofortress, and the S-3B Viking. The S-3B Viking. How long have we been waiting on getting that one updated? That's probably one of the oldest aircraft models still in the game, and one that you see quite regularly if you're a Harrier or a Hornet or an F-14. So that's really going to be very, very cool. Yay, flying spaghetti plane. Yes, indeed. Byron, great. Tornado will be out by the time you're done with the Hornet. Well, you'll need to talk to Frantic about that one. He's currently personally funding the development of a Tornado, is my understanding. Yogi, isn't the MB339 already a free mod? What will be different to the free version? Not as far as I'm aware. The MB339, as I recall, and I might be wrong, was an internal mod that wasn't shared with anybody, that was being used by a team doing aerobatic displays. So I don't think it's ever been a public module. Do you think the AH-64 will be delayed again? Conscious that there was no update. Well, Yogi, just you wait. Just you wait. That's all in my show notes. I'm going to be coming to that a little bit later on. MB's a nice plane, says Stieglitz. I agree. I think this looks rather nice. If we jump into the screenshots here, here it is in beautiful Italian colours. I forget the name of this group, but this is the real-world Italian Air Force kind of air show squadron. So that's them in their colours. There's some detail on the undercarriage, and also, very interesting, Durandal, which I did not realise was something the MB339 could carry. Durandal being an anti-runway penetrating bomb. Very, very interesting piece of kit. Used to be used by the RAF, I think is maybe still used by the French Air Force as well, but no longer used by the RAF. Stieglitz says he has the MB. Alright, I had no idea. There was a public mod. It was a free mod for a time. Okay, very interesting, very interesting. I did not know this. Well, I can only assume that at some point it's not going to be a public mod anymore. India Fox Echo is actually a very interesting developer. I was watching their videos recently about their F-35 Lightning II, which they're releasing for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And of course, while it has no simulation of things like the radar and stuff like that, the flight dynamics looked really quite good, and the avionics simulation was quite nice. So this is a developer that clearly knows what they're doing, and here, take a little look at these cockpit shots. I think the modelling here in the cockpit is very, very nice. This looks like quite a modern NATO-style aircraft, perfect for doing training missions and some light CAS, perhaps. Go frantic. Yeah. Reminds you of the L-39. Yeah, this is very much the kind of Western L-39, yes. Because whereas the L-39 has all kinds of weird Ruski-centric systems in it, you can see here straight away, I recognise this IFF panel, I recognise these radios, like all of this is very, very familiar. I could probably jump in this and at least operate the avionics. This is all very, very familiar to me. So, yeah, a cool-looking aircraft. Looking forward to getting my hands on that. Oh, we're jumping ahead a little bit. So, yes, MB339 also took part in the Falklands-Malvinas War with the Armada de la República Argentina, the Argentina Navy. I hope I pronounced that correctly. It was also used by the Eritrean Air Force in various roles against rebels, smugglers, and even against the Ethiopian Air Force. Today, the MB339 is used by the Al Fursan, the Knights, UAE's national aerobatic team, and by the Frecce Tricolore, yeah, exactly, as you guys just mentioned, the Italian national aerobatic team. That's a really cool livery, actually, that one. I like it a lot. MB339 is the only jet aircraft capable of performing the famous Lomonosovak maneuver. I do not have the faintest idea what that is. I'm going to have to look that up after the show. The MB339 for DCS aims to be the most realistic simulation of this aircraft ever made for PC, not only in terms of systems functionality and performance, but especially flight model. Currently, the aircraft is in its internal test phase and is continuously being improved as new features are being added. So, I guess we're going to get our hands on that at some point soon. Did India Fox Echo do the T45 free mod? No, they didn't. Exactly as Tech Gaming mentions, that was VNAO. That is an aircraft I still have to have a go at. Although sadly, I think currently it's still a simplified flight model. Unlike the really, really nice A4, which actually has an external flight model. C101 fanboy, yes, Yappy Dog, I remember taking a flight in the C101 with you many, many moons ago. It's a very nice aircraft. Not sure you need the MB. Probably not. Yeah, really, the MB339 and the C101 functionally are going to be the same aircraft, really. The 339 has a greater range of weapons that it can employ, and it's perhaps, in some ways, a more competent actual combat aircraft. Like, a 339 would be better in an active role, but I think if you're looking at it for training purposes and avionics-wise, they are identical, really identical. Small jet trainer with modern NATO-style avionics. You're not going to see any difference between these two aircraft, I would say. So if you already have one of them, I wouldn't bother buying the other, is my personal opinion. You guys can do what you like. Yes, Stieglitz, it may well be the case that an earlier version of this aircraft was public. I didn't realise that. I thought it was internal. And then next in the newsletter, we have the Magnitude 3 updates. We already covered these last week, so I won't be going over this in any more detail just now. There's nothing additional here. And then the last part of the newsletter, which is very exciting, is that we're getting some new 3D models. And initially they're talking about the B-1B Lancer, the B-52H Stratofortress, and the S-3B Viking. Let's go and just take a quick look at these, because this is pretty cool. Here's our B-52, of course. You know, what other aircraft has 2 engines per pylon? Only the B-52, and of course this crazy undercarriage arrangement as well, with the outriggers and the doubled up kind of mainline undercarriage. Very interesting looking aircraft. A very, very long in service aircraft. I guess this aircraft has been in service for more than 60 years now. Of course, with various upgrades and whatnot, but yeah, pretty cool. Still hoping somebody will do a T-38 someday. We had them stationed here during the Cold War days. Byron was used actively as described. Will go very well with the Falklands map. Yeah, absolutely. For the Argentinian side, MB339 is a really nice one. Yogi, what price point do you suspect it'll be released at? Don't have a clue. I'm sure they'll announce a price point once they have one for us. I have no idea. Please, these models are being updated. Yeah, absolutely. The buff. Yes. Good old buff. Look at it here with one of its spoilers out. Very cool. And view from the front. Yeah, very imposing, very big aircraft. And here, like I said, the one I'm most excited about, S-3B Viking. Having a high fidelity model of this aircraft is going to be stunning. It's going to be so good. Because the one that's in game right now does, sadly, look terrible. There's no other way to put it. It looks pretty bad. But this one looks really quite fantastic. And something that I'd never noticed is that it has its own refueling probe. So the refueler can itself refuel, which is quite cool. I wonder if it can only refuel its own flight fuel tanks, or if it can actually refuel the fuel cells inside that it uses for refueling other aircraft as well. That would be a very interesting capability. And here we are with the folding wing mechanism that it has as well. Stieglitz is telling us how much the MB339 will cost. I don't think any of us know until we're told by India Fox Echo, but no harm in guessing, of course. Ernov, does it have a sniper pod under the right wing? Ooh, keen eye, sir, keen eye. Let's have a little look. Sniper pod under the right wing? I don't see one. Oh, you're talking about this? Actually, I think you're right. I am pretty sure that you are right. That does indeed look like a sniper pod. Keen eyes there, sir. Keen eyes. S-3B with a bomb bay. Well, of course, originally the S-3 was anti-submarine warfare. So I guess even the refueling version has retained... Wait a minute. This is not the refueling version. S-3B Viking. This is the anti-submarine warfare version. What the hell am I talking about? Hence all of these bits here for Sono Boys, and it has the bomb bay. So yeah, for some reason I was thinking this was the refueler. Which version is the refueler? I forget. In any case, this is actually anti-submarine warfare, and I'm guessing this boom here is probably a magnetic anomaly detector or similar. So my mistake. Terribly sorry. In fact, let's check. Let's see. S-3B. This is indeed carrier-based anti-submarine aircraft. There you go. There you go. So yeah, I was totally wrong. What was I thinking of? There is a version that's a refueler. Which is the version that is a refueler? 3B, S3A. KC3? No idea. No idea. Oh well, we'll figure it out one day. Yes, and the B1B. Yeah, where's the model for the B1B? Did we miss that? Yep, we don't have a model for the B1B, actually. They've not shown us any pictures of that just yet, sadly. But I imagine we'll get to see that at some point soon. Has a mad in the tail. Yep. Eagle is getting too old, though. But still the king of the skies. Indeed. Indeed. So that's the Eagle Dynamics newsletter for this week. Also, I wanted to jump onto an article that Stormbirds released. Stormbirds, by the way, really great website if you're interested in flight simulation news. Stormbirds.blog. Always give them a shout out. They've got a really good site, and I'm always keeping an eye on them. And they mentioned something that I had also picked up on, and I thought was very interesting. And I thought I would bring it to all of you in chat and see what you think about this, because it's something that I have a personal opinion about. As Stormbird says in the article, last year Eagle Dynamics did something new, and they gave us a roadmap for their plans over the course of the year. I think that this was a really, really good thing that they did. And I know a few weeks back, me and dotChuckles, we did an evaluation of this roadmap. We kind of graded them on it. We went through the whole thing. We said, right, what did they deliver? What did they not deliver? And what was not in the roadmap that they gave us anyway? And I have to say, chat were telling us that we were being overly negative. I didn't think that we were. I thought we were just being realistic. And actually, both of us were super happy at what Eagle Dynamics had achieved over the course of the year. If you look at all the stuff they've pushed out, the kind of almost completion of the Hornet, 2.7 brand new graphics engine, the new clouds, there's a lot of great stuff that Eagle did over the course of the year. And yet there was a little bit of ambition that wasn't quite delivered upon. There was some stuff that they missed on, which is fair enough, The ongoing pandemic and all manner of other unforeseeable circumstances, of course, impact their ability to deliver on that vision. But I think personally, this is a bit of an odd thing that they've decided to do now. So let's dive straight into it. No roadmap for 2022. In response to a question on the Eagle Dynamics Discord server, ED Community Manager Big Newey responded that there would not be a formal roadmap this year. And I quote, "We won't be doing a roadmap. Too many people take plans and see promises, and it just creates a bad feeling. When we have news to share about our projects, we will share them." So, Stormbirds actually takes the point of view is that this is a fair point and this is fair enough. I actually disagree. I think this is bad. I don't think there's any problem whatsoever with communicating intentions. In fact, I think it's a really good thing to do. When I read back over the roadmap that ED posted for last year, I thought it was brilliant. I went through most of that stuff, and most of that stuff was either partially or completely delivered. So it was really, really good, and I think it was it got the community excited about what was coming, and it also, they talk about not wanting to make promises. It's not a promise, but it's an intention. You say, okay, we would like to do this, we intend to do this, and I think it spurs the development team on. I think it's actually a really good thing internally at ED as well, because they have this thing they've communicated with their fans, they get feedback, they might even get the fans to tell them what they prioritize and what they don't, what they're most excited about. You have this this kind of feedback loop going on, and you know what's actually important, what's worth doing. I think it's a really bad thing that they've decided not to do it this year. Now, I know me and dotChuckles, we joke about this quite a lot, that the flight sim community can sometimes be very kind of entitled, and you were like, oh, you promised me this, give me my money back, this is rubbish, this is unflyable. There is a bit of that going on, of course. But I think if you're very, very clear with people, you say, okay, we are communicating our intentions, what we would like to achieve over the course of the year. This is what we've planned out. We may or may not manage this, that some things will slip. I think that's fair enough, and you should have an adult communication with your fan base on this kind of regard. Now, of course, the problem is that not your entire fan base is not necessarily adult. Some of us are children, either physically or mentally. Sometimes both, sometimes one or the other. So sometimes that's difficult, but that's not a reason not to do it, in my opinion. I'm sorry, I've been ignoring chat for a little bit because I wanted to get my piece out, so I'm now going to take a peek at chat and see what you guys think. Right. Oh, wow, okay, here we go. Scroll down for the B1 pick. Oh, thank you, Mark S. Unforeseen consequences. The S3 tanker stuff is just a bolt-on kit. The ruler of DCS News. This is like a total avant-garde club meeting here. Okay. Oh, dear. Intentions are good, says Channel Right. People whinging that items haven't been met is poor. I'd have kept the roadmap for the drama. Totally agree. See, this is actually, Channel Right, I think you make a good point. The fact that there is some drama around it is also not necessarily a bad thing, sorry. That's marketing. Like, if you put something out there and people start talking about it, that in itself is actually very, very valuable. And you shouldn't, if you say something and someone disagrees with you, your immediate response shouldn't be, oh, I guess I'll just never speak again. What kind of a response is that? You should stand your ground. They put out the roadmap last year. They made very little statement about the fact that some items on that roadmap were not met, like Vulkan, multi-threading, and the ATC. They didn't speak about it. I think they should have just come out and said, yep, that's what we hoped to do. Wasn't possible. Couldn't do it. Sorry. Maybe we'll get it in 2022. And I think, as adults, I think that's something that we can all accept and understand. There's intentions and there's what you hope to achieve, and then there's reality. And they don't always meet. New Year's Eve was epic, says Tog. Any news on the F4 Phantom? Rumour has it there's going to be an Afghanistan map, says Yogi. Yogi, you've clearly not been watching last week or the week before. We had lots of news about not lots of news, some news about the F4 and the Afghanistan map. I think it was not last week, but the week before. I want there to be rumours about a Vietnam map. Who knows? Falklands map, it wasn't Afghanistan. Yogi agrees with me regarding roadmaps. Byron, yes, the S3B lost the tail and the Sona Boys as it transitioned to the anti-submarine warfare role in the 90s. Tanker role was indeed pods. Ah, okay, so it's the same aircraft, you just put refueling pods on it. Thank you, I didn't know that. Or admit you were wrong, says Talk. Yep. Yogi, when do you think the F-15E Strike Eagle will be released? Well, this is something I talk about almost every single DCS news, Yogi. I don't think we're getting it this year. I think I said 2 weeks ago that if we do get it this year, it will be extreme early access, like quite possibly missing features and a bit broken, which is fine. Sometimes that's how early access is, but I don't think we're getting an actual F-15E release until 2023 at the earliest. Although they're ramping up the hype machine just now. But both me and dotChuckles are of the opinion that it's not near release yet. But sometimes we're wrong, and unlike some people, we will admit when we're wrong. Just a little elbow for ED. I don't mean to be negative, because I think Eagle Dynamics are excellent. I think DCS World is an absolutely unique product, and without it, we would be much the poorer. But everybody has fault. Everything has fault, and I don't think it's at all problematic to point that out and to strive to be better. 2025 earliest for a working Eagle. Tog, you could be right. I think that's maybe a little bit unfair towards Razbam, who I'm a big fanboy of. I think they can probably deliver it sooner, but who knows? Stieglitz, does anyone here see the absence of a concrete roadmap in any way related to the greater political situation? What? Isn't at least one DCS studio also located in Russia? I don't know what being located in Russia would have to do with them not releasing a roadmap. But yes, most of the developers are in Russia. The company is actually based in Switzerland, as I recall, and the publisher and parent company is based in the United Kingdom. Channel Right, I think we'll see an F-15E this year with limited features initially. You could be right. I think and I hope they don't do that, which might sound a bit bizarre. It's like, why does Deepak not want the Strike Eagle to be released? I'm desperate to fly the Strike Eagle, but I want a good Strike Eagle, because I've experienced a pretty good Strike Eagle in the form of Jane's F-15E Strike Eagle, which I enjoyed very much, and that had AI. I would quite like them to do a good job of it. And the thing is, I know, Razbam, this is to you, I know you guys can do it. You guys are awesome. So I know you can do it. I just think that it should be released when it's ready. That's my only position on that one. Razbam have a lot of thumbs and pies. Yes, that's true, Tog, although they do seem to have different teams. And of course, the map development and the module development are very, very different things. But yeah, if you look at what is it they have announced so far? So they have the F-15E Strike Eagle, they have the MiG-23. At one stage, they were talking about a Pucara. They have also been talking about a Super Tucano. Yeah, they seem to have a lot of aircraft. Oh, and also they're involved in one of the helicopters as well, which is actually being made by somebody else. Maybe Polychop, I can't quite remember. They're doing the modelling for one of the helicopters. So yes, they do indeed have a lot of fingers and thumbs and pies. Right, when will DCS switch to the Vulkan API? Asks Brain051. Well, see, that's the problem. We don't know. It was supposed to switch to Vulkan last year, because that was in the roadmap for 2021. For 2022, as I've just been discussing, we now don't have a roadmap. ED have decided that having a roadmap and then not delivering every single item on that roadmap is a bad thing, and it's better to just not have a roadmap. I strongly disagree. I think the ED have misstepped here. I think it's absolutely fine to publish a roadmap and not to deliver every single feature. I think that's okay. That's the real world. You know, I work in software development. I actually work at a games developer. I know fine well that you don't get every single feature you put on the roadmap on day one. Either you don't get it on time or you just don't get it. That's perfectly normal. Tog, I think he's pointing out there's a lot of political issues between Russia and the West right now that could delay or break plans for releases. I have no idea what I don't know what either of you are referring to there. I don't know what geopolitical situation has anything to do with software development, but maybe I'm just being narrow-minded. Razbam Shar on the way. Channel right, I personally believe that ED should concentrate on quality of life upgrades this year. Yes, Channel, I agree with you there. I think that'd be really good. And Byron, the BO105, thank you very much. That is the one I was trying to refer to, but I'd forgotten its complicated name. Tell DCS to fix their darn supercarrier. Yeah, but the supercarrier's not too bad. Actually, the supercarrier is really good. It's just missing some of the features that they have planned, like the air boss station, the briefing room, and things like that. I think overall the supercarrier is actually very nice. Ukraine. What, you think the potential invasion of Ukraine would stop a software company from... I don't know where you guys get these ideas from. I don't know, but maybe that's just me. Yappy Dog, I agree that a roadmap is a good idea. I also understand that the community peoples are probably tired of dealing with the whiny children. Well, actually, I have to say, more recently on the forums, since the kind of banning of people and the kind of heavy-handed moderation of the Eagle Dynamics forum is mostly over. It's a much, much nicer place. There's less of that. I think you find when you treat people nicely and you treat them like adults, they actually behave like adults. So I think that entire situation is much, much better. Yeah, I think that's much, much better. Mark S., I like hearing about stuff almost more than getting stuff. Well, it's the anticipation, isn't it? It's the foreplay before the delivery. Yeah, I agree. Actually, I'm very excited about all this stuff. And then actually later in Stormbird's article, so this was the big thing for me, like no roadmap. Like, we're just not going to have roadmaps anymore for some reason. Stormbirds then goes on to talk about the things that are potentially happening for 2022. Of course, we had a whole load of stuff shown in the DCS World 2022 and Beyond video, which we've already covered. But yeah, I'd be hoping that certain things that were projected for 2021 and were not delivered, they'll now be coming in 2022. So things like that would be Vulkan API, multi-threading support, the ATC, the FLIR technology, which we've been told will be coming with the Apache, and I'll speak on the Apache in just a moment, and yeah, of course, the Apache itself. Enhanced AI. Actually, we've already seen, I don't know if there's been much about it in the change logs, but I've already seen improved AI behavior with regards to the troops, the ground troops. They already seem to be behaving in a much more sensible fashion. Actually, one of VAF squadron members, Shadows, was demonstrating troop movement to me today, and he showed bounding movement. He gave a group of troops a command to move position, and they did so 2 at a time in fire teams, which was very impressive. And that's something I've not heard mentioned in any of the change logs or anything like that. So ED are clearly already making quite interesting improvements to the ground AI, at least. And this makes sense, because of course the Apache is potentially coming very, very soon. Stieglitz, I hope at least for a minimal love package for the Black Shark. Yeah, the Black Shark, that's a sad story, isn't it? Because at one stage we thought we were getting a whole new version of the Black Shark, with missile approach warning and an RWR and air-to-air missiles and things like that. And sadly, in that case, a geopolitical situation did, in fact, impact its development with the Russian military technology laws, I forget exactly what they're called, basically putting a stop to that module's development. So we are now really only getting an updated model and some better texturing, which is a little bit sad, but well, we'll take what we can get. Tog, I don't think it would slow down the progress either. I was just pointing out that I think Stieglitz was pointing out. Oh yeah, okay, right, fair enough. Tog, you mean AI have the will to live now and are no longer suicidal? Yes, yeah, it was amazing when Shadows was demonstrating it to me. There was it was a 4-man team, I think it was. 2 guys were standing still, returning fire, while the other 2 moved, and then they swapped around. They were using some proper infantry tactics there, which was pretty cool to witness. Tog, yes, we should move on to the rest of the news. Ribbon, Vulcan ABI is welcome, more playable in VR. Yes, that's true. Some twin bombers for Normandy and a focus on PTO. Yet the Black Shark in the vid is different. Well spotted, Tech Gaming, yes. The Black Shark model that we see in the 2022 and beyond video is indeed the one with the new model. So what I'm saying is that originally it was planned that we were going to get an updated version of the helicopter. So actually a later version of the helicopter with some more systems. We're now not getting any new systems. It's going to be the exact same helicopter. The only thing now is that it looks a bit nicer. they've remodeled it and brought it right up to date. What else have we got mentioned here? And of course, yeah, the Hornet, it still has a couple of features to deliver before it's complete. It's pretty close to being complete, as you'll see if you watch my tutorial series. And the F-16C is in full development right now, with multiple new features to be released in, well, it says late in 2020. Yeah, multiple new features were released in late in 2021, and of course there's a whole load more stuff this year. A-10C Tank Killer 2 is still awaiting a few updates, most notably the new radio. Who would have thought it would take so long to get a new radio, but hey, oh well. No air-to-air capability, that's correct, Stieglitz. No air-to-air capability. Mr. Yeti, new Matt Wagner F-16 video just landed. Well, give me one moment. This is too good an opportunity to miss. Does he know that I'm running my stream right now? The Viper has Detos Bombing. Well, that is rather exciting. This was something I didn't know. Now, the thing is, this is actually an update that's coming to the Harrier very shortly as well. Let me see if I can queue this up. Now, the problem is, usually when I'm playing these videos, I have already reviewed them with the audio, so I know what's going on. For this one, sadly, I'm going to be watching it for the same, first, same as you guys. And can we risk having the audio? I think we can, because there'll be no music on this one. So let's actually give this a go and see what we can do. Don't worry, we're not going to suck the viewers away. We're going to play Matt Wagner's video live, and I'm probably going to get a copyright strike, but let's see what happens. So I'm seeing this for the first time with all of you. Oh, so do you guys not have any of the audio? Oh no, I'm really sorry about that. Okay, I didn't realize that I've been playing this with no sound. Right, give me 1 sec. I can actually fix that for you. Dearie me, that's very bad that I didn't notice that. So you've all been sitting here in silence for a moment.
Wags here from Eagle Dynamics.
Now you'll hear him.
DCS F-16C Viper video. We'll look at
Terribly sorry about that.
or Detos bombing mode.
The things that happen in live TV.
Allows you to designate a ground location as a sensor point of interest or SPI through the HUD or the HEMIX. And this designation can then be used for a CCRP attack using unguided and laser-guided weapons.
Wags has a lovely voice, Stieglitz. How dare you?
Alrighty, so to use
Would you rather listen to me?
First, of course, we're going to go to air-to-ground master mode. And now we can select the mode, the bombing mode, one of two ways. We can either go down here to the SMIS, go to OSB2 to display our bombing modes. We see a Detos, but actually probably a more handy way is using the nose wheel steering missile step switch on the stick. We can cycle our bombing mode. So right now you can see on the HUD we're CCIP, Strafe, CCRP, and now Detos. Let's bring up the targeting pod. Change our soy to it. I'm going to go to FLIR. And put the soy back on the HUD by going up on the DMS switch. Now, you can see up on the HUD, around our flight path vector is a box. And we can slew that box with the radar cursor control switch. Let's go ahead and bring the target area into the HUD, a little peek up ahead. And now using the slew switch, we're going to move it down to that location, space stabilized, and about where we have it where we want to be. We'll go forward on the target management switch, and we'll ground stabilize. And down here on the targeting pod, let's go ahead and make that our soy again. Put it over the target area, a little refinement, and now we're just basically running a standard CCRP attack with an unguided weapon, in this case a couple Mark 82s. And one away.
I don't understand how this is dive toss. That just looked like a normal CCRP launch. Am I missing something here? And I also hope the Falklands are coming very soon. It would be really nice to see them in April, of course.
Okay, let's bring the sensor of interest back to the HUD by going up on the display management switch. And now to recage our Detos designator back to the flight path vector, we'll go aft on the target management switch. And we see it's back now. Now let's do it through the HEMIX, or the helmet mounted queuing system. So we make sure that's on. Again, we have our sensor of interest assigned to the HUD, and just like we did with the earlier lesson, we're going to go forward on the target management switch for more than a second and release. Now we have the box on the aiming cross, and we're going to use this now to set the Detos designation, which will be our sensor point of interest for a gun-guided weapon or even a laser-guided weapon attack. For other weapons like GPS weapons, you'll use the visual mode as well as Maverick.
Is this the Falklands map? It just occurred to me that this looks kind of like the Falklands map.
Pond over here, and TMS forward short to ground stabilize. You can
Nice.
adjust it a bit. And again, now we're just going to do a standard CCRP attack on that area. Of course, as we get closer, if we wish, we can again go back to the missile step switch on the control stick, change our mode, say go to CCIP, which gives you a little bit higher accuracy, and bombs away.
Nice. Really nice. Okay, at the start he was over Stanley, recognized
So folks, I hope you enjoyed this little lesson on the upcoming Detos bombing mode, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.
See, this is really good. Well done, chat. Well done. This is good that you noticed that this is the Falklands map, because I was watching this and I was thinking he always includes some kind of a sneak peek at something, and I was staring inside the cockpit. That's why I at first didn't notice the map. I was staring inside the cockpit. I'm like, what new features are we getting here that he hasn't kind of trailed already? And yeah, that absolutely looked like the Falklands map, and I didn't notice it for a while. Very, very nice. Very nice indeed. Shoreline looks very Falklands-ish. Absolutely. Excellent. And it's not 99% ocean. Yes, unlike the Marianas, of course. Wags did indeed just CCIP a pond, yes. It had been very naughty, and it deserved it. So that's kind of cool. The way he was doing the dive toss seemed odd to me, because the way I've seen it done before, you get that CCRP style cue, just as he had there. You're diving towards the target, you hold the pickle and you pull back on the stick, and you command a certain level of G, and the bomb comes off at the right point. That didn't really look like a dive toss delivery to me. Although that said, you can use the symbology in a variety of different ways. So, you know, perhaps what he was doing was a perfectly valid style of dive toss employment that I'm just not particularly familiar with. Fish are valid targets. Yep, pretty much. Cool. Okie dokie. So thank you very much, chat, for noticing that one. That was a good catch there. Back onto the Stormbirds article about what's coming in 2022. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff coming. You know, like I was saying, the radio for the A10C would be really nice to see. A bunch of updates to World War II aircraft are anticipated, and we're seeing a vastly expanded Normandy map is coming from Ugra Media at some point. So that's going to be pretty cool. So that's going to be nice. And yeah, we're also expecting Afghanistan and the Falklands coming very, very soon. Falklands would be great for adverse weather missions. Well, is there any other kind of weather on the Falklands? I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I didn't see any tossing going on, said Yappy. I agree, that didn't seem like a toss delivery, but you know, he was using the dive toss symbology, but he didn't seem to do a dive toss delivery. That's the thing that I found a little bit strange. Modules for next year. Well, of course, there's the Apache. And something that I put into my little notes here was Apache on track for the 26th? Question mark. Do we think the Apache is on track for the 26th? That's in 11 days. That's very, very soon now. We haven't seen any more videos from Wags about how you do the startup and so on. We know that Eagle Dynamics were having some difficulties actually implementing the startup. I think in the last video we went through the FAQ with regards to the Apache and what has already been implemented in the internal builds and what is still to be implemented. I have to admit I'm a little bit concerned. That said, I think that if the module does not meet Eagle Dynamics' internal standard for release, then they just shouldn't release it. And I think that would be a very good decision on their part. They should very carefully consider if it's ready even for early access release. Now, of course, if we can start the thing up, fly around and shoot the gun, then probably for most people, that's perfectly good for day one. And certainly me, myself, what they'd listed as having already implemented was kind of most of what I would want to see. I would just be very interested to see, external lights, the ability to start it up and things like that. They were talking about things like the automatic motion of the stabilizer in the tail was not working correctly. And while that would be problematic, I don't feel like that should be something that should stop the early access release. But hey, hype. Yes, indeed, all aboard. So yeah, I think I'm concerned about the Apache release, given that it's supposed to happen in 11 days. But I guess it is still possible, and Eagle haven't said anything to the contrary as yet, although sometimes they don't do so until quite close to the time. So who knows, maybe the Apache is still coming for the 26th. Let's see what happens. But you know what else is coming on in 2022? The Mirage F1, which looks absolutely fantastic. And actually, I'm going to take this opportunity, and this time I sadly do have to mute the sound. I'm going to take this opportunity to play the trailer for that aircraft again, because it's damn cool. the Aegis DCS Mirage F1. Looks very, very nice indeed. But yeah, this one I would get a copyright strike for because they're using music. Yeah, look at that thing. And I really like the lighting in the cockpit, and really the way they've modelled the cockpit all round seems very, very nice. Yeah, look at her go. That's going to be cool. It'll show up when it shows up. Yep. Ed will be torn a new one if they miss it. Mark S., I have to respectfully disagree with you, sir. I think they'll be torn a new one if they release a really bad module. I think most of us, having experienced the travesty that was the F-16 launch, would much rather see a delay than some kind of half-arsed release of the Apache. So, yeah, I don't share your point of view there. Look at this beast of a machine. You should watch this video afterwards because the music and the sound is also very, very good. So there you go. Coming in 2022, quite possibly, the Aegis Mirage F1. Looking very, very nice. And then we also now, of course, have the MB339 by India Foxed Echo. So that's really, really cool. And then, this actually was a more recent picture that Razbam released for the Strike Eagle. And I have to say, looking pretty good. Razbam's modelling is generally of a pretty high standard. And also, looking in detail at this HUD, it feels very, very familiar. I'm recognising this from Jane's F-15 Strike Eagle. It's looking very, very nice. And this is even the same version of the UFC that was in that particular aircraft. There are some more modern UFCs than some of the F-15Es these days. Channel right. I think there'll be a big patch early February that will include Fleur, Falklands release, and Apache. Speculation, of course. Well, Eagle have already told us that the new Fleur system is necessary for the Apache, so they can't release the Apache without it. Originally, they were actually intending to release the Fleur system before the Apache. We were going to get it, I think it was early January, but that didn't happen for whatever reason. So, yeah, we're now waiting on both the new Fleur system and the Apache. Hopefully coming soon. F1 looks awesome. Absolutely agree, Yogi. It does indeed. That's a lot of stuff to stuff into just 1 month. I agree. I agree. I guess we'll see what happens. And yet, Black Shark 3. This has been teased a lot through 2021, and it was, of course, featured in the 2022 video. Sadly, not a new module, but just a refresh of the existing one. And then, of course, the F4U-1D Corsair by Magnitude 3 is supposedly coming out in 2022. Again, sadly, I'm not super excited about World War II aircraft, although this one does look really good. You know, they've clearly done a good job, so that's cool. And then Stormbird's saying that they don't expect Heat Blur's A6 Intruder or the Eurofighter Typhoon to release this year. I totally agree there. I think these are going to be a bit later, but very excited for both of those. So that's pretty much the whole thing for 2022. These are the kind of things that maybe Eagle Dynamics would mention in a roadmap if they were to publish one. And as I said before, I just want to state again that, in my opinion, it's never good communication or marketing to just not tell people things. It's like, oh well, if I tell people things, then maybe I don't deliver, or maybe things change, and then people will ask me questions and be angry. It's like, well, that's not a justification to not talk to people. I think they're being short-sighted here. But anyway, we'll see. Maybe they change their position. Maybe they're right, and maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. What do all of you think? What does chat think about this? Should we have a roadmap for 2022? And should we entitled flight simmers be giving Eagle Dynamics a hard time when they don't deliver? I think we shouldn't. I think we should be nice to them. But hey, they give us a lot of cool stuff to play with. I got a whiff of Microprose for a second looking at the Strike Eagle. Yes. As the F-15E is a Boeing aircraft, what do you think about the system's operation compared to the F-18, as this is also a Boeing aircraft? Do you think they'll be similar? No, they're not very similar, actually. based on my experience of Jane's F-15, well, keep in mind, for one thing, the F-15 is an earlier aircraft, and then for another thing, the Hornet is a naval aircraft, and naval aircraft have a very different operating philosophy. And so you can see a lot of similarity between the way the Hornet and the Harrier operate, but really no similarity between, say, for example, the Hornet and the F-16 or the F-15. Air Force and Navy aircraft don't necessarily share that much with regards to their operational philosophy. Release the roadmap. Yes, I agree with you, Byron. Release the roadmap. Release the hounds. I agree with you, Deep. Keep people informed, even if you have to delay it at a later date. We will understand, says Mr. Yeti. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, tell us what you intend to do, and if you have to, fail early. If it's not going to happen, just tell us. Say, hey, look, things are not going to plan, it's going to be pushed. That's exactly what they did with the Apache. I actually think their communication on the Apache has been kind of a masterclass in this. They told us when to expect the Apache, and then they told us, okay, it's not going so well, we're going to push it by a month. I think that was great. That was really good communication, and they should be saluted for that, and I'd love to see a bit more of that. And I think that this rolling back on the roadmap is a step back from that kind of philosophy, and I think it's bad. Cool. Okie dokie. Companies that don't drop a roadmap tend to not keep promises. Mark S, hashtag release the roadmap. Yes, indeed. Dear. Yep, pretty much. So, that is the DCS news for the 15th of January. That's probably the longest DCS news that I've ever done solo. We normally have a lot of back and forth between me and dotChuckles. It's unfortunate that dotChuckles wasn't able to join me today, but the man has a real world. You just had me this time. So as always, I'm going to give a quick shout out to the VAF at the end of my stream. Me and dotChuckles, we founded this thing called the Virtual Air Force. The link below will take you to our Discord. If you have any interest in even just hanging out on the Discord server, chatting with us, myself, dotChuckles, and many other exciting people are there. Or if you would like to fly with us as a freelancer, you can fly any aircraft you like in our training sessions or missions. Also, we run numbered squadrons, which provide a kind of opt-in milsim style experience where there's mandatory training and lots of other people to share that fun experience of exploring an airframe with. So please, if you have any interest in flying multiplayer in DCS, check out the VAF. The Discord link is both in the chat and below this video. We're a friendly bunch. We'd love to see you. We operate in the UTC and the CET time zones, so Europe basically. If you're outside of Europe, you might find some of the timings difficult to adhere to, but otherwise everybody is welcome, and at every level we provide training. I've been Deepak. I run a weekly tutorial currently on the Hornet. Next week it'll be about the ACM, that's the air combat modes of the Hornet's radar. These are the kind of automatic lock radar modes used during dogfighting. And then immediately after that tutorial video premiere each week, I do the DCS news, which just happens to be this thing, what you're watching now. I hope that you've all enjoyed it. It's really nice to see everybody. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and comment. Byron flew with the VAF twice last week. Awesome experience. Thank you, Byron. What else is going on here? Channel right. I don't mind stepping in for dotChuckles if needed. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Yappy Dog, does the VAF server have the new in-game radio enabled? It does not. We are still using SRS until the in-game audio system becomes more stable and has more features. It doesn't really it doesn't really match up to SRS yet, but it will one day, and when it does, we'll start using it. What is the situation with the transition to the Vulkan API? Nobody knows. We don't have a roadmap. Eagle aren't telling us. So I can't tell you. VAF radio lingo is awesome, I have to say, says Stieglitz. Reminds me, I got to get low-tacked sometime in the next few weeks. Yes, indeed. Stieglitz wants me to sing. Nobody wants that, Stieglitz. Nobody wants me to sing. That's not going to happen. Maybe at New Year I could have sang you Auld Lang Syne, but not now. It's too late. Byron, how did you know I was... You got to keep in mind that there is a delay between when you guys hear me and when the chat comes through. You preempted me saying that. Well done, Byron. You know, great minds think alike. VAF is life, VAF is love. Indeed. Indeed. So anyway, I'm going to bring it to a close now, but as I said, please, if you haven't already, subscribe, like and comment. It's a really big help to me and to the channel. Thank you all for watching, fly safe, and I'll see you all